question for you. What really matters to you? What really matters for you in your next homeschool year? If you are looking at all the things that you've got written in your day timer or all the things you're hoping to do, maybe you're just looking at all the resources you've purchased or the co-ops or the activities you've signed up for, all the things you're planning to do for yourself maybe, what really matters to you? I just got off a conversation with another mom, and that was the default question again for her, just to clarify, to get through all of the muck of what's the most important thing here? What do I really want? What really matters to me? That question right there helps you to clarify how you're showing up in your relationships in your home. As a homeschool mom, your engagement, the way you show up with your kids really matters. But it also, that question, what really matters, it also deeply influences how you are showing up in your schedule, like how many things you're putting into the schedule, or how desperately you must have the laundry finished, or whether things should be clean and tidy by the end of the night. Hey, what really matters? That's the question that could be at the back of your mind all year long. If you're wanting to get clear on how to decide whether you should do a certain curriculum or whether you should decide to incorporate yet another activity because a child is curious about it, or maybe just deleting certain things simply because you think certain other things matter more, like getting margin in your day. That's something I hear a lot. When parents want to have more margin or just more quiet time, more peace, and yet they aren't able to do that because they keep including more things. And those things seem to be important because other people are doing them, or they've rationalized for themselves why those things matter. It's not just our schedule, though, that's influenced by the question, what really matters? And it's not just our relationships that are influenced by what really matters, but it's also how we're relating to ourselves and if we're fulfilling our deep meaning, or the things that I would say, the things that are you, uniquely you. We often talk about our kids, and we talk about our kids and we say they have unique fingerprints. They were meant to be on this planet for specific reasons. And we want them to grow up and love their lives and love doing things like they're doing, like my kiddo is doing as she's in Italy right now. And we want them to enjoy their lives as much as is possible. But I want you to enjoy your life too. And I think you matter. I think your personal vision outside your homeschool mom role, that matters. And so what are you prioritizing for you this upcoming year that's just for you, uniquely for you? So if you can ask that question regularly, maybe pin it to your mirror, put it in your journal, or put it on a sticky note and then move it from day to day in your journal and ask yourself, what really matters? And that can be the litmus test for you to decide how you are going to determine what to include in your schedule, who to include in your schedule, and how you can include you in your schedule. If you've already been listening to my podcast episode this week, I called it Finding Her True Self, From Anxious to Authentic Homeschool Mom Life. You will be listening to a discussion about one client that I had. She's actually a composite of a variety of clients that I've had. Her name, I gave her a name, never coached this mom's name before. Her name is Riley. Here's her challenges. She says she doesn't talk to herself as kindly as she talks to her kids. She puts others' needs ahead of hers. She's afraid she'll not give her kids what they need if she doesn't put her kids' needs ahead of her own. She anticipates others' needs, but discovers later that she's incorrect in her assumptions. But she consistently spends too much time trying to figure them all out. She also consistently asks others, "Are you okay?" She feels the need to make community wherever she goes. She feels that she can't make interpersonal mistakes because she'll feel ashamed or feel a sense of failure. She's got two experiences at the same time. There's one part of her that knows she can't be perfect, and the other one is too afraid not to be perfect. Do you identify? That's one I hear quite often, actually. That's why I talk about determining to own the perfectly imperfect mom experience, because that is how we all do it. We don't always sign up to be perfectly imperfect homeschool moms, but we will be. And if we finally accept and render that perfectly imperfect is as good as it's going to get, then we will be okay to be fully who we are in the moment, and frankly, to learn the things we need to learn so we can show up more intentionally. So Riley also said she felt anxious about not having a community, even if she chose a community that didn't make her feel seen, heard, and understood. So because she felt anxious about not having a community, she signed up for the community that was right in front of her, even though it really didn't make her feel seen and heard. She didn't like disappointing others. She was afraid to show others her true self in case they would tell her that who she was too big. She didn't want to sit still, so she was always going, doing things. It was uncomfortable for her to feel her feelings when she sat still. She has an awareness, or she had an awareness, that this is all she's got, so she's going to have to make her life work. This is a common refrain. These conversation questions, or these conversation points, by the way, are ones that I have in coaching, because as a life coach in the homeschool mom space, I'm not just discussing how to declutter your home and how to decide what kind of curriculum you want or what routine you need, although I definitely do those things. But I go so much more deep because I've learned that the things that matter, the things that genuinely matter to you in your relationships, in the activities you choose, and in how you're relating to yourself and what your personal vision or your personal goals are. When you get clear on what really matters in those things, they compel a lot of conversation in coaching. They also help you get a whole lot clearer on what you practically want to do from day to day. So that's why I shared about Riley's story, not a real person, a composite of homeschool moms I've coached. And I share with you about how she found her true self from anxious attachment to authentic homeschool mom life. And I share a lot more detail about that story on my podcast, the Homeschool Mama Self-Care Podcast. So Riley's journey, though, is like many homeschool moms' journeys. You'll hear this discussion about, I can't take care of me. I can't do things that I need because I'm trying to take care of other people. And I don't think it's an excuse. I think it's not even a homeschool exclusive experience. I think it's definitely a mother experience where we tend to want to nurture those around us and give them everything we need, and then realize, you know what? I know that I'm a human, but I haven't been really acting like I'm a human. And humans have needs. I have needs. And it's time, at whatever breaking point the mom experiences, it's time to actually address those needs, because we get to a breaking point if we don't address our needs. So we need to take responsibility to take care of our needs. Otherwise, everything suffers. Our relationships with ourselves, so our well-being, and certainly our homeschool. So let's talk about some practical ways that you can make sure that you are addressing those challenges this year. First, ask the question, what really matters? Those 3 words are powerful. It's a powerful question that helps to unearth a lot of stuff. And by the way, you're welcome to join me in a no obligation conversation if you want to talk about that lot of stuff. But what you can do, some practical approaches, are to use journaling exercises, or, morning reflections, sometimes people will call them. Like, you could start each day in your journal by asking yourself, what do I need today? What do I want to feel today? How do I want to feel supported today? And write it down. If you've only got 30 seconds, Put the journal beside your coffee or your tea and keep it there until next morning, when you can ask yourself again, what really matters? How do I want to feel today? What do I need to feel supported? Those few little questions, if you answer them on repeat, even if you repeat the same answer every single day, if you answer or ask yourself every day the same questions, you'll get clearer and clearer on what you really need and what really matters. So ask yourself those questions in the morning in a simple journal. You could also ask yourself those questions, put them into your phone, and let them remind you every morning as you're taking a walk to the mailbox, if that's a good way to wake up. Or maybe if you're doing yoga on the patio, or maybe before the kids wake up, or maybe you're waking up with the kids. So you put those questions, at the bathroom sink or something, and ask yourself those questions. The second thing you can do is practice setting boundaries. And you can ask yourself, where do I need to set boundaries to maintain my margins in my day and also maintain energy in my day? This also is a long-term practice to get clear on what really matters and learn where you actually need to instill those boundaries, because it isn't always clear right away. I mean, sometimes we know that there is a certain person that we're spending time with that really is draining us, and we are only doing it because, I don't know, we got this impression somewhere that said if somebody asked us for something, we had to give them what they needed. Or there's a certain person that nobody knows how to engage in a particular community, and so you feel too guilty not to engage them because nobody else is, or so many possible reasons. But there are certain people that you know right away a boundary definitely does need to be enacted right there. But sometimes we don't know what the boundary needs to be because we haven't spent enough time with ourselves learning what we need. And so it's valuable for us to ask ourselves, where might we need to instill a boundary to protect your time and your energy? Because you homeschool mama have an infinite, or have a finite, not an infinite, you have a finite amount of time. And that finite amount of time means you have to determine how to spend it, and you'll know how to spend it because you are getting clearer on what really matters. The third thing you can do is create a gratitude practice, which is a super simple thing to do, but sometimes it is also super powerful if you're not accustomed to doing it. So at the end of the day, maybe on the same journal, in the same space, you can write down just 3 things that went well today that you can celebrate. You can celebrate those small wins. By the way, every Friday in the Confident Homeschool Mom Collective, I do that. I celebrate with whoever wants to share their small wins, and I love to do that every Friday. I wish I had someone to do that with me during my homeschool journey. Obviously, for me, I had my partner and I had various people that would celebrate with me, but to really feel like there is someone really checked in to my specific homeschool family experience, and they weren't also equally as overwhelmed and consumed by all the activities, that would have been super useful for me. So the next thing that I want you to consider after the biggest and most important question, what really matters, is you can ask yourself these 3 questions. What do I want my homeschool experience this upcoming year to feel like? I'll just let you sit with that. What do you want it to feel like? If you have been doing this for a few years, how do you want it to feel differently than last year? How can you ensure that you are doing things for you or nurturing you alongside nurturing your kids? What can you do? This is a question I think we can ask on repeat, so we can remember that we're humans that have needs. What does success look like for you beyond just academics? What does success look like for your homeschool mom life? What does your success look like for your homeschool? We need to get really clear on that question so that we know what really matters and whether we actually met it. If we actually got to the point of checking off that important thing in our life, in our homeschool life. Did we actually succeed? How did we know that we succeeded? So ask yourself, what does success look like for your homeschool family life? If any of this resonates with you and you'd like to go deeper into discussions around these things, you're welcome to join me in the 5-day wellness challenge for homeschool moms, because these are some of the things that I discuss in the 5-day wellness challenge. If you just write the words wellness or write the word challenge, I'll make sure to get you the link in the comment section below. And soon I'll be offering a special free webinar for homeschool moms that have been doing this for a while, so that they stop pushing through and get clear on what really matters in their homeschool. My goal is to help you stop pushing through and actually enjoy your homeschool mom life. So I'm curious if you want to share with me for this year, what really matters to you this year? Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'm Teresa. I am a certified life coach and homeschool mentor, found here on Instagram at the Homeschool Life Coach account. You can also find me on my website at www.capturingthecharmedlife.com. You're welcome to join me in a no obligation conversation to discuss what really matters for you too. I hope you have a great week.